So, Michelle Morgan,
Yes.
tell me something that I don't know about you.
Well, I don't know what you do know about me, but I'll just describe myself.
Yeah.
I would describe myself as an adventurer. I live for the outdoors, explorer, bit of an adrenaline junkie, have a bike, and I like doing things like jumping out of planes and, just making the most of the life that I have. And so you were asking me about Lamu. So I stayed on alone just to go on a solo adventure. I think it's really important to discover yourself. And I like doing that alone, and I like doing that in new places. So that's why I was like alone in Lamu. But yeah, I'm an adventurer. I love the thrill of life and the excitement of life, and I chase that in different ways.
True.
So a bit of an adrenaline junkie. Yeah, I think that's how I describe myself.
You're talking about Lamu, and most guys might say that you as a lady, beautiful as you look, going for vacation all alone. Wasn't there anyone else, like your other half or something?
Yeah, so I was actually there over the weekend. As I said, there was a function I went for, and I had all my friends there and my partner as well. And they left on the Monday because they have a normal 9 to 5 Monday to Friday job. But I work on weekends, so I didn't have to be back in Nairobi until Friday. So I just decided to stay on my own, which was quite nice actually. It was really interesting to discover the island and to go on some adventures, which I did.
So now, on the TV part, when did you discover that you wanted to do TV?
So I always enjoyed performing, and I consider myself quite a creative person, and I pursue that in different ways. And so the performance aspect was something I engaged in growing up. And after university, I'd studied media and communications and really enjoyed the journalism aspect of it. So when I came back, I needed to get a job and support myself financially. So I had a good think about it, and I thought, well, let me give it a go with TV presenting and stuff. So I just went knocking on all the doors. I went to KTN, I went to Citizen, I went to NTV, I went to all of them really. And Citizen gave me a job, so that's how I started off. Being a news anchor and a presenter. But that's sort of one of the many things that I do.
True. And how did you land at Citizen TV?
As I said, it's just, I think that when you have a vision, or when you have an ambition of something you want, you have an energy that you kind of exude about it. And that's precisely what happened. I knew that that's what I wanted. And so I was just sort of resourceful and creative about how to get any contacts and just network, in terms of getting that opportunity. And when I kind of got the opportunity to go there and drop off a show reel, I just kind of presented myself and how passionate I was about doing it. And I don't know, I guess they saw something they liked and they gave me a job. So
true. And how was it like anchoring for the first time?
Yeah, it was really nerve-wracking. Just so nervous. All these people watching. So it's definitely nerve-wracking, and it's been a journey of growing into my own person and growing into my own skin and being comfortable in who I am. And I think that that's essentially the kind of presenting style that I would like to exude, is just a comfortability in myself. I don't try and be anybody other than myself when I'm on screen. I think it's sincerity that I try to carry through my everyday life. True.
And were there any challenges
Yeah, it's so many challenges, which is again part of your journey, And I think it was a saying I heard the other day actually, which was quite interesting. It's life will always have mountains, valleys, and rivers. There's always challenges that you've got to overcome, and so I think there are plenty of challenges from really vindictive energy coming towards you, be it from other anchors or other people in the company or people watching you. It's not always nice. People aren't always saying nice things. There can also be some pretty malicious kind of things coming your way. So you have to have the thick skin to just accept that not everybody is going to like you, and those people who don't are entitled to having their opinions about you. So that was the first thing to just kind
How
of...
did you react to that kind of...
Well, you know, I'm a human, so obviously if somebody is like, you know, kind of maliciously attacking like who you are, it's gonna hurt a bit. But that's what I'm saying. It's just, it takes time to just be like, okay, that person can think that about me, and that's fine, and that's their opinion, you know, and it's not really going to affect my life, you know. Just carry on living it, you know. As I said, like the sincerity and just being who I am. You know, if you like me, fantastic. If you don't, you know, then that's okay too.
True. And in Citizen TV, we know that they also have a couple of anchors, well-known anchors. How is it like working with them?
So I learned so much actually, and especially from the anchors that, you know, have amazing energy and really good qualities. You know, I learned a lot from those anchors who had a positive vibe. You know, for example, Janet Bulgo, she's amazing because she's just a very sincere and genuine person. You know, and she would kind of just give me tips, and she's just really nice. So there was quite a few anchors, most of them really, who were just really lovely and supportive and a pleasure to work with and to learn from.
True. And who did you look up to in Kenya? Who do you look up to in the TV anchoring thing?
You know, I really like Hussein Mohammed, right? Because he's just really hard-hitting with his interviews. You know, he's well-researched and he comes into it with an agenda, you know, and I think that is a really important part of journalism, in portraying the truth, and giving your audience the kind of answers that they need about real issues. So in that sense, I think that, you know, his style and how he does it is pretty impressive. So I'd probably say like Hussein.
Hussein only?
Well, no, I mean, not only, but I think in terms of like journalistic TV presenting, I think that he would kind of strike me as somebody who is extremely good at what he does. But I mean, I think that every anchor has their own persona, you know, and there's no right or wrong way to be a TV presenter or a news anchor. It's being yourself, you know. And so in that sense, my opinion of who I respond to is just a personal reaction to different kinds of people. But I generally tend to react to people who read a sincerity to them. Like Janet, how she is on screen is exactly how she is off screen. There is no difference in that. So that's what I mean. Yeah.
True. And in the blogs and even from our fans, people tend to wonder, which race are you from? Like, which tribe you come from? Yeah.
Yeah, I get asked this a lot.
Yeah. You have to confirm now.
Okay.
You have to come clean.
So I was born in Kenya.
Yeah.
And I've lived here my whole life. But my dad's English, or was English, he passed away. And my mum's actually from Tanzania. So in that sense, I don't belong to a Kenyan tribe. But I think that there's so many Kenyans who don't have a tribe. There's Kenyan Indians, there's Kenyan Mzungus, there's different ethnicities that fall under being Kenyan. So in that sense, I wouldn't, you know, I don't belong to a Kenyan tribe. But I still consider myself Kenyan, having born here and grown up here my whole life. Having an ID and all of that, you know. All of that good stuff.
Yeah, because people, even when they had the name Michelle Morgan, they knew you're not Kenyan.
Right.
But since
I think it's a
Kenya,
really interesting discussion, actually, you know, about nationality and identity and, you know, all the things that are entwined in that, you know. And I think quite a stereotypical perspective is that, you know, you've got to either be black or come from a tribe to, you know, be called a Kenyan. But my view is, you know, there's so many different identities that fall into a nationality, both race, religion, ethnicity. You know, I mean, there's Indians who third generation who've born here, speak fluent Swahili, you know, and they're Kenyan completely, you know. There's Somali Kenyans. There's so many different kinds of Kenyans.
True. And like growing up in Kenya, did you have any kind of discrimination?
Discrimination? You know, I think it's like the attitude that you carry with you, right? You could either look at being mixed race as a disadvantage, you know, because you wouldn't ascribe to any particular race. You're not white or you're not black, right? But I think it comes down to perspective and attitude. So I'm very grateful for the body in which I inhabit, you know. And what I mean by that is I'm grateful for my senses. I'm grateful that I can see, that I can hear, that I can talk, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, being mixed race is like, you know, to me, it's just, it's something that comes down to perspective, you know, and I'm very happy with the person that I am, the shell that I live my life through. And, you know, if you have a positive attitude about it, and you can see it as an empowering thing, because then if you are not one or the other, maybe you can be all of the above, right? So in that sense, like I don't carry this sense of discrimination or it's such a hardship, you know, because it's all about attitude and perspective.
True, I understand. And going back to TV, you left Citizen TV. Why was that?
So when I was at Citizen, I was doing the business news, which really wasn't my passion or my calling. And so I felt confined to an area that I wasn't passionate about. And I had certainly expressed, you know, a desire to move away from that, but there weren't any opportunities. So although it is, you know, the most established or the most watched station, I was unhappy there because I was doing something that wasn't making me happy. And if you can see by my personality, I need more excitement in my life than a business bulletin would give me. So in that sense, it's all about change and taking risks. And you know, I decided that I had to move on because my soul was dying doing this. I mean, going in every day and doing business reporting, that might be, you know, what somebody else would respond to, but this kind of adventure, adrenaline, outdoors, this is what I respond to.
When did you realize that this wasn't for you? When you're doing business?
It's a journey, right? It's an evolution. And so, you know, I think that when I started at Citizen, it was a really exciting opportunity. And, you know, I stayed there for a year and a half. So that's a good period of time to learn and grow and see how you respond to things. So, you know, after that year and a half, and I'd expressed that I wanted to do something different, and, you know, there weren't any opportunities in what I wanted to do, I just started looking elsewhere. And so I left, and I went to Berlin for a few months, and I did a documentary filmmaking course, and that's where I learned all the aspects of cinematography and videography and photography and this other kind of really creative side that I have within me. And sort of came back with those skills, and these are kind of the creative projects that I pursue right now. So I balance my life by financing it with presenting, and then I have my creative projects that just feed my soul. When I do photography shoots, when I do, you know, videography, you know, everything that entails, right? So that's quite exciting, and I've been working on some really interesting projects.
So you actually like behind the cameras?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really interesting, really interesting dynamic to be in front of the camera as well as behind the camera, because it's kind of a holistic understanding of production. And some really interesting projects I've been working on to do with extreme outdoor activities. I've done a series of videos for a company called Extreme Outdoor Africa, which is all about adrenaline outdoor sports. And so I did, you know, videos for them on skydiving, swimming with whale sharks, deep sea fishing, microlights, all this kind of out there adrenaline. Interesting photography shoots as well for Tribe Hotel. They're one of my clients. I had a shoot with Janet Mbugwa actually last week. So you know, these are the kinds of things that I get excited about, that the creative soul is jumping up and down when I get a chance to do these kinds of jobs.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And so for me, Citizen was just, I felt like I was in a box, a cage. And right now I feel really liberated in the fact that I can explore the areas that I'm really passionate about.
True. And you did all that stuff, and then you landed at Ebru Africa.
Right.
Tell us how that came about.
Yeah, so Ebru is interesting. As I said, I was just kind of looking to to balance the reality of life, which is you must finance it, you know, and you know, these kind of creative projects that I do don't necessarily translate to the kind of financial security that I needed. So, you know, with the fact that TV presenting was a skill I have, you know, I just decided to utilize that to finance my life while I have my business called Nomad Productions. So while I got that off the ground. So that's what Ebru was about. So I worked there while I was getting Nomad going, and while I was sort of starting all of that. He made me a really good offer. So I was like, fine, you know, and so you know, that ended, and then moved on to K24. They made me a good offer, and it's a really good dynamic with K24 because I work on the weekends. So that's Friday to Sunday, which gives me the entire week to pursue
and actually
Nomad
thought
Productions.
that you're actually busy like the whole week. So just actually work on the weekends.
Yeah, so I work at K24 in the weekends, and during the week that's when I pursue these different creative projects that I really love.
True. And what happened? Why did you leave Ebru?
Why did I leave Ebru? You know, without going into too much detail, it was just the dynamic of their expectations and what I was willing to give them were not on par. And so it wasn't the dynamic wasn't working anymore. So I left. You know, I think that, you know, life is about evolving and about growing, and when something isn't working anymore, for me anyway, I stop doing it and I move on to the next opportunity. And so that's where K24 happened. And by that point, I had Nomad off the ground. And so it's working out really nicely actually, because for example, going to Lamu this week, you know, I went on lots of photography missions and photography adventures and videography adventures, and so that's really exciting to now translate that into, you know, creative projects.
Now you're at K24. How did you join K24?
So actually, the news editor at K24 used to be at Citizen, so he knew me personally from then. So he called me up and he said, we want to hire you. So I said, make me an offer. And he did.
Working on the weekends.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's worked out quite nicely.
True. And now how long should we expect you to grace our screens?
To what?
To grace our screens, like our TV screens, because you keep on moving, doing your own stuff, doing your own stuff.
I don't know. I mean, like,
how long should we expect?
I think that's part of the adventure of life, is that you can't expect too much. You know, you don't know what tomorrow will hold. I certainly don't, and I find that quite exciting. So, you know, I kind of live in the present. This is working for now, and who knows what opportunities will come around tomorrow.
True, true. Now tell me a little more about Nomad's production.
Okay, so Nomad, so my handle on social media is The Female Nomad. And the name comes from the fact that I'm a free spirit and a free soul, an explorer and an adventurer and a traveler, by bike, by air, whatever. So that's where the name came from. So within that I have like my Nomad photography, which, as I told you, I was doing a lot of in Lamu. I have Tribe as one of my clients, done shoots with Janet, so that's my photography side of it. And then there's the videography side of it. So on the Nomad Productions aspect of it, I'm working on a really interesting adventure travel show, TV show at the moment, which will involve myself and 2 other hosts who are also bikers. And we are going to travel Kenya by bike and showcase the different destinations that this country has to offer, but by bike. So we're going to ride to the coast, and we're going to ride to Eldoret, we're going to ride to Kisumu, we're going to ride to Turkana. And when we get there, we're not just going to be like, this is Mombasa or this is Diani. We're going to do extreme outdoor activities. So we're going to go skydiving, we're going to go swimming with whale sharks, we're going to, you know, do all of these extreme activities to showcase the destination even more. So it's a really exciting, adrenaline-filled travel show that I'm working on right now.
It seems you've traveled a lot. Let me ask this. Which is your most overrated Kenyan holiday destination.
Overrated?
Yeah, overrated.
Like I don't appreciate it, or that I really appreciate it?
People appreciate it, but you feel that it's not worth the hype.
It's not worth the hype.
Yeah, to
I
travel.
don't know. I mean, like I think that Kenya has such an abundance of beautiful destinations, and anywhere you go, it's your own experience, what you discover there. You can go to Lamu and I can go to Lamu and can have totally different experiences. So I think every destination has such an abundance of treasures and activities. It's just for you to discover them. So I wouldn't say that there's an overrated place, because
So
I think
you think there's none?
I don't think so, because I think wherever you go,
Yeah.
you can find adventure and interest and travel and treasures, and you know, I
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I really think you do. You know, you
True.
can if that's what you're channeling, if that's what you're seeking.
True. What are the lessons you've learned on TV, being on TV?
I've learned to be comfortable in my own skin, and that entails accepting that people, you know, might like you and might not like you. I've learned that you're going to make mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes, because that's part of life. I'm gonna shrub, I'm gonna mispronounce a name, you know, I might sneeze on camera, you know, these things are gonna happen, and I think they're actually quite funny when they happen, you know, and so that's also been a learning curve, that it's okay to make mistakes. And what else have I learned? I've learned just to have fun with it, you know. I think that we all have limited time on this earth, and so the saying YOLO, I kind of live my life by that. You know, you really do only have one chance at life.
Sure.
And so I'm just trying to make the most of it and live my life in the kind of way that I respond to, that I'm excited by, that, you know, makes me happy.
True. I understand. And which is your most embarrassing moment on TV?
On TV?
Yeah. Doing this kind of thing, even when reporting in the field.
Like a TV slip up. I mean, like I've mispronounced like loads of people's names, and that's, you know, that's always a bit embarrassing. But you know, when you go out and do a story, if you mess up on a piece to camera, you can just kind of re-record it again. But like live on air, like nothing that I would majorly be like, God, this happened, you know, shit. Just other than mispronouncing people's names, I'd say that's always like, God. Yeah.
Mispronouncing names.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't think of any. I mean, general embarrassing moments in my life is plenty, but on screen, I don't know, I guess I've just been like lucky that it hasn't been like that bad. Yet. Okay, I say that, yet.
True. And now moving on, now mostly to your personal life now.
Okay.
Are you dating?
I'm engaged.
You're engaged?
Yes.
Can you show us the ring?
I am engaged.
Yeah. This person you're engaged to, is this someone who is known?
What, like a celebrity?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. He's not. He's a lovely individual. He works in private business, so he's not like a celebrity or anything like that.
And is this business known?
Yeah, Easy Taxi.
Easy Taxi.
Yeah, so it's a mobile taxi application. He's the managing director.
I actually
for
know
that.
this guy.
You know him?
I know this guy.
Yeah.
I know this guy. We've done an interview with him once.
Oh, there you go.
But moving on, how did you meet?
In a swimming pool.
In a swimming pool?
Yes, at the coast. That's how we met. I thought he was delicious. And I was just very confident about the energy and the kind of chemistry that we had, and we hadn't even spoken, so it just swam over. and I introduced myself, and that was it.
We know the managing director to the taxi. He's called Peng Chen.
Yeah.
He's the one.
Yeah.
How did it all start about?
I think that, you know, there's people in your life who you will react to in a very passionate way, and that's exactly what happened. I respond to not just his aesthetics, but mentally and spiritually. He's my life partner in every way, you know. So it's just been a really intense and passionate connection.
So when should we expect the wedding?
I don't know. You know, I think in time, when it's the right time, it will happen. There's no sort of set date at the moment.
Are we invited?
You know, we'll talk when it happens. We'll talk when
it happens.
Yeah.
True. And let's leave alone. Let's say that you're not dating right now. Let's say that you're not engaged right now. What do you think of Kenyan men? Have you ever dated a Kenyan guy?
Yeah, I have actually. You know, I think that the connection with a person, you know, and so, you know, previous boyfriends and relationships and whatnot have been from so many different races and ethnicities. So for me, it's never really defined by if you're a Kenyan or if you're a black guy or a white guy or whatever. It's, if there is that connection, you know, if that spark is there, then I'll explore it. Well, not anymore, obviously, but in the past.
True. You've dated a Kenyan guy.
Yeah.
How was it like?
He was amazing. Yeah, it was good.
It was just good.
I can't complain. You know, I think that every past relationship is part of your journey. You know, and so I have no ill will or negative energy towards any of my previous relationships. And so, you know, that one included. Yeah.
True. Ron, so what turns you off in men?
Turns me off? I don't know, just like insincerity, you know. I'm just all about reading through, just be who you are, you know. And if I don't respond to who you are, that's nothing personal on either side, you know. So it's just about being real. So I think that if somebody's kind of contrived, or I don't respond to that, and I don't respond to negative energy, you know.
True.
I don't, you know. I think if you're positive and you exude that, that's something anybody would react to.
True. And let's say that you're not engaged again. Let's
Hypothetical.
Okay. Will you date a fellow colleague in the same industry that you're in?
Yeah, I mean, like as I said, I don't like confining myself or putting limitations on my life. I think if you have a connection, I wouldn't let anything kind of come between that.
True. Have you ever been trolled on social media? Trolled.
What is trolled?
The negative energy, negative comments.
Yeah, like all the time it happens. You know, it's like.
Yeah. How was your reaction?
As I said, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say like it was fine. I know it's thick skin. Obviously, it does hurt when you do read these sort of really negative comments. But again, you know, it's just about like accepting it and just being like, you know what, that person is entitled to their opinion, and that's absolutely fine. And it's not going to affect my life or stop me from living my life.
True. And what do you think of the social media trolls? The guys who just keep on trolling.
I think it's really easy to, you know, from behind a computer screen or behind a phone, it's really easy to be really negative. And I think that if that's the kind of energy that satisfies you, you know, there's probably something like deeply wrong somewhere, you know. So I think that, you know, for people who kind of live off that negative energy, they probably have their own issues to address. So again, it's like, it's not really taking it personally, it's more so like, wow, like, maybe you have stuff to deal with, you know, if you get off of putting other people down.
And you've heard Lupita is coming to Kenya.
I've had what, sorry?
Lupita Nyong'o is coming back to Kenya.
Right.
Guys on Twitter, guys on the social media actually trolled her coming back to Kenya. What do you make of it?
Just let her live her life, you know. And she's obviously living it in a very successful manner, you know, and hats off to her for what she's achieved. She's a beautiful, independent, and talented woman. And, you know, I think that I wish her all the best. And I don't think that she would, you know, be bothered at all by the kind of negative energy around her. Again, I think it's more so reflective of where that person is at if they get such satisfaction from, you know, berating other people.
True, true. Moving on. What's your take on Kenya's entertainment industry?
I think it's vibrant and exciting and creative, and it's growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's cool.
It's exciting.
I think that, you know, there's a lot of creative energy right now, and it's expressed in so many different ways, musically, artistically. You know, for example, Bankslave with his graffiti, and you know, there's so many kind of outlets of creative expression, and I think it's only growing, and I think that's really exciting.
True. Who are your favorite Kenyan artists, musicians, or something?
Well, Saudi Soul, but like I'm really into kind of electro house kind of music, and I don't really think we have so many Kenyan artists doing that kind of thing, you know. Yeah.
Let's just guys comment on your taste of music. Okay, moving on.
Also, I have to leave soon.
We're just ending.
Okay.
Just a few questions. What's your take on Kenyan socialites?
On Kenya what?
Kenyan so-called socialites.
You know, I really believe in like everybody being on their own journey. And my favorite saying is the journey is the destination. So for each of these socialites, they're living their life in a way that makes them happy. So, you know, do you know, Ferry Sadiqa, whoever, like if she's happy and she's doing what she wants, you know, I don't have anything to say about it. Just carry on doing what you're doing, chase your happiness.
Okay, I forgot to ask this question. If you're not doing TV or doing this Nomad production thing in another life, what will you be?
In another life?
Yeah.
You know, I think it's an interesting question. I think I'm really living my life the way I want to, right? So I think what I'm doing right now is really what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be traveling and exploring and doing adventurous things. If I could hypothetically be anything else, probably an astronaut, because I think there's something phenomenal and otherworldly about the universe and outer space.
True.
And kind of being one of the rare people that actually gets to go beyond this earth and see it from another perspective and engage with like the greater universe is really special.
True, true. And which is your favorite female body part?
Female body part?
Yeah.
I think the female form is so beautiful, and I think that every woman has their own female energy and sexuality and confidence that they carry with them. And so it's difficult to say one part, because I think the female form in its entirety is beautiful.
True. If you were to change a part of your body, which part will this be?
I think that, you know, I've been on a journey and am still on a journey of comfortability in my own skin. So I mean, like, I'm pretty active in terms of doing outdoor activities and stuff like that. So I'm pretty comfortable in my own skin, and I don't really think I would change.
True. Last question now. Do you get stalker problems?
I really don't. I don't really.
Why? How comes?
I think I'm just like, I try to be just really down to earth about it, you know. And so if somebody kind of like approaches me, it's really flattering, you know, that somebody, you know, has positive compliments to give to you. And so it's like, it's very, very humbling, you know. And so I just kind of channel it in that way of thank you, you know, but I am engaged and I wish you well.
So there's none.
So I mean, honestly, it's not something that I'm like, I'm really distressed by this, you know. It's not something that troubles my life.
Easy.